Hello. Now we are going to go through an income tax question with some extra deductions involved, some extra taxes on top of our standard 20 and 40% tax rate. And in this case, we're going to be dealing with Universal Social Charge, or USC, and PRSI, pay-related social insurance, which covers things like unemployment and old age pension. So this time we're calculating our gross tax, our net tax as normal, but that's not going to be the only deduction we take away from our gross income. To find our net income or our take-home pay, we're going to have to take away some more of these taxes, some more of these deductions. And we could also be told about things like gym membership or subscription to streaming services. And we'd add all of those deductions up that get automatically taken out of our pay, and then we would find our take-home pay. So they can add lots of bits and pieces to these questions, but all we do is add up all of our deductions, our taxes, our charges, and take them away from the gross income, and that's going to give us our take-home pay, our net income. So let's take a look at this example. Osman's salary is €60,000. Their tax credit is €1,000, and their standard rate cut-off point is equal to €35,300. And they pay 4% PRSI on all of their income. So how are we going to find their take-home pay? So remember, the standard rate cutoff point means the point at which the amount of money at which we switch from paying 20% tax up to the higher rate of tax of 40%. So everything we earn above 35,300 is going to get charged at 40%, and everything below that is going to get charged at 20% tax. So let's do out our pillar of income. So we have above our standard rate cutoff point, we're paying 40% tax. Below it, we are paying 20% tax. And so we're paying, if we write it in, 35,300. Up to 35,300, we get 20% of that gets charged in standard tax, and then above that, up to 60,000, we are paying this remaining amount of money only at 40% tax. So let's write in those two tax brackets. And we know that our gross tax is going to be the sum of these two things, the tax at 20% plus the tax at 40%. So our T20 is going to be 20% per 100, so we always write this in as a fraction, 20% of the income up to 35,300, which ends up being 7,060. And then the income that gets charged at the 40% rate is 40% per 100 of 60,000 minus 3,530. Sorry, 35,300, I apologize. Which works out to €9,880. So that's my tax at 20, my tax at 40. So I know that my gross tax is equal to the sum of those, tax at 20, tax at 40, which is 7,060 plus 9,880. So my gross tax ends up being 16,940 euro. And then to find my net tax, that's going to be my gross tax minus my tax credit. So that means my net tax is going to be equal to my 16,940 minus my tax credit. In this case, I'm told is €1,000. So when I do that, I get my net tax is equal to 15,940 euro. So that's my net tax got And in some questions, in some simpler questions, you just take that away from your gross income, and that would give you your net income, your take-home pay. But now we have these extra deductions. So all we have to do is calculate what they are. Now, PRSI is very straightforward. It's just 4%. PRSI is very straightforward. It's 4% of all of the income. So that means Osman pays 4% of this 60,000 in PRSI. Now, that is not the only way that they can give us that information. They could tell us that they pay, or Osman is PRSI at 4% after the first 10,000, and then they would be paying 4% of 50,000. But in this question, it's just 4% of the total income. So that's at, normal at symbol, 4%. So that's going to be 4%, 4 per 100. This is part of the reason why it's very important to write this as a fraction, because 4 is fairly small, so we wouldn't necessarily think about it as being over 100. So 4 over 100 of the entire 60,000. And that ends up working to 2,400. Now we need to get into this table, this USC business, this universal social charge issue. So we can see from €0, so from no money up to the first 12,012 euro paying per year. So this is a salary question, so we're dealing with per year. We have a USC rate of 0.5%. So again, very important that percent always means divided by 100, because 0.5 almost looks like a percentage by itself. So we have 0 to 12,012. Well, that is going to be 0.5 out of 100. That's the 0.5%. By 1,212. You can write minus 0 here if you would prefer. And that ends up being €60.06. And then from that 12,012 euro up to, getting this from the table here, so the second row now, second row of the numbers, up to 19,874. We pay 2% in USC, so 2%. And this time we're going from 19 and from 12 up to 1987.4. So that ends up being 157.24. And we have from 19,874 up to, in our case, so this bracket goes up to 70,044 euro, but our income only goes up to 60,000 euro. So we are only interested in going up to 60,000 euro. So that's going to be paid at 4.5%. So we are going from 60,000, which is the gross income, down to the beginning of that bracket is 19,874, and we pay 1,805.67. That means our total USC is these three numbers added together. So our total USC is our 6006 plus our 8,005.67, all adds up to 2,022 97. Now those are all of our deductions gotten together, and we know that our take-home pay, our net income, is equal to our gross income minus our deductions. Well, our deductions in this case, our gross income minus our net tax plus our USC plus our PRSI. So we have all of them together, so our net income. So our net income then is equal to our gross income, which was 60,000, minus our net tax, which was 15,000, 15,940, plus our USC we just got is 2,022.97, plus our PRSI we calculated up here is 2,400. And when we add all of that up, we get 60,000 minus 20,362.97. So our net income is going to be 39,637.03 euro. So that is all of our deductions added up. And as I've mentioned, these are not the only deductions that we could be given. We could be talking about gym memberships. We could be talking about any kind of subscription that automatically gets taken out of our income. So they could add those in to this question, but it would make no difference. We know that our net income is our gross income, or 60,000 in this case, minus all of our deductions. So we just work out all of the deductions individually, add them all up, take them away from the gross income, and that is how we do these questions. But as always, structuring out, telling the story of what we're doing is absolutely critical. So we tell ourselves what our gross tax is, then we use our picture to help us find it and remember it. Then we write down our formula for getting our net tax. Then we write down what we're doing to get our PRSI, our USC. We write down how we're going to get our net income. And telling that story is really critical to being able to do these questions in the long run. And that is what we need for now.